So are you a golfer that hates their long irons? Well, if you are, by the end of today's video, I'm gonna have you hitting a long iron just like this, hitting it out the middle, long and accurately, and hopefully taking those long iron shots to a whole new level of consistency. So hopefully that looks incredibly simple, but far too often for golfers, the long irons are a real bane to their golf game. Struggling with confidence, getting poor contact, poor direction. And I think for a lot of guys, it's actually that lack of understanding as to how they need to deliver the long iron in order to get that strike and that control. So what we've got to talk about initially is if we're going to hit the ball out of the sweet spot on the club face, where exactly is the sweet spot on an iron? So as a general rule, and I know some of the irons are a little bit different, but you're looking about 3, maybe 4 grooves up on the face. So I've put a red dot covering the 4th line on the face here. And when we set up to the golf ball, what we'll tend to see, and this is where ball position becomes important, I'm going to put the ball just slightly forward of centre at the moment, as most golfers get told, in order to make sure that my angle of attack is nice and shallow. But there's a lot of terminology there, isn't it? So first of all, what is angle of attack? So angle of attack is the angle the club is moving as it hits the golf ball. So it can only be doing one of 3 things. It can either be moving down, it can be moving level with the ground, or it can be moving up. So anytime the ball is on the ground, we want the club moving down into the golf ball. So the lowest point of the swing should be ahead of the golf ball. Now, with the more lofted clubs, golfers have it in the middle, and they want that low point nicely ahead, so it creates lots of shaft lean, but it's not necessarily what we're after with long irons. So if I was to put the club down behind the golf ball there, so I can see the red dot is actually not quite going to make contact with the ball, it'd be a bit lower down the face. So if I then just put a tiny bit of shaft lean into there, I can see then the red dot would be on the back of the golf ball. So that's where I need to get to at impact in order to strike the long irons, and 4 iron in this case, solidly. So let's say, for example, I'm a golfer who's told to put the ball well forward in the stance and feel like I sweep it away. So that one very, very low off the face. In fact, that low, it's hardly registered on TrackMan, but low point 3.4 inches behind, club's travelled up 3.5 degrees. Smash factor is just how efficiently I've transferred the energy from club to the ball. That's awful. So even though the result's decent, it's a very, very poor strike. Now, I've got away with that massively, but I could definitely feel there how I missed the ground and almost nearly topped it on that one. So then let's go the opposite of that, where golfers say then, right, I need to put the ball much further back in my stance and try and hit down a lot. Well, again, my accuracy is delightful. Even though my low point was ahead of the golf ball there, I've definitely got into the ground and we can see the impact way up the face. Smash factor horrendous. And again, carry not very good. And obviously it's rolled out, but that wouldn't happen in the UK at the moment. So I need that ball position to be somewhere in the middle. So if it was a long way forward, I can see there that I might be bottoming out here and traveling up. So I want to feel that I can get that low point just ahead of the golf ball. And I've done videos on this in the past where with 7 iron, I'm maybe drawing a line maybe 3 inches ahead. I'm going to have the line maybe just an inch ahead there. I'm going to try and feel that I'd be getting to that point. So I'm going to make sure I really shift towards the target, and that'll create that shaft lean and hopefully that dead centered strike. So once we're up there, just rehearse that impact position. That felt much more solid. And a good job, because that's pretty much where I want that to be on the club face. Low point was 1 inch ahead. Club traveled down 1 degree. Smash factor suddenly jumps right up to 1.43, carry at just over 200, and total at 213. So I'm half tempted not to hit another one because that's pretty much as good as it gets, but I could definitely feel there that I was kind of into that left side, very like I would with 7-iron, but that's where that ball position, just being a little forward of 7-iron for me, helps give me the correct angle of attack, gives me the strike, and gives me that control of the club, but the influence on the ball flight. So I said maybe I shouldn't do another one. Need to prove that we can be consistent though, don't we? So let's get that ball position slightly forward. Let's rehearse that red dot getting onto the back of the golf ball. And let's put a good swing on it. That one maybe just drifting a little bit to the right. But again, you can see correct height up the club face, low point a little bit ahead, club traveling down 2 degrees, smash factor still decent, and then just cost me a little bit of carry at 193 and total at 206. But I think the thing for a lot of golfers is they struggle so much with the long irons because it's that thing of trying to help the ball in the air because there's no loft. And it's that bottoming out behind the ball, fatting it, or bottoming out, club traveling up and hitting really low on the face, and then getting told they don't hit down enough, and getting that and getting high up the face. Remember, the center of the face is where we're looking to get it. Obviously, if you've got more loft in your hand, if you draw that little dot on your clubs with something more lofted, you need a lot more shaft lean. But as the clubs get less lofted on the ground, you don't need as much shaft lean, so you don't need the club traveling down. But again, feel like I get a little bit ahead. And I love that as a practice drill, just having that dot on the face, rehearsing where I'd need to be, and then standing up. I didn't get that one. So we can see there, didn't get my low point ahead. Therefore, it's a little higher up the club face. And it's not a disaster with a long iron, but a big drop off from what I should be capable of. Now, what I would say if you're working through this video with me, thank you for watching. If your club head speed is on the slower side, you might struggle a little bit with the longer irons, which is where the hybrids and the fairway woods will definitely benefit you. Now, I've done videos on both, and I'll maybe put one of them up in that top left, but it's the same idea of trying to get that low point slightly ahead of the golf ball so that we deliver the club correctly. And as long as you keep working on the right things, you get better, as we see there. Great strike, low point ahead, clubs travel down, smash factors high, carry and total are fantastic. So the long irons don't have to be kind of the worst part of your golf bag. You do need an element of speed to get the most out of them, but if you've got that speed and you still struggle, have that idea of how do I get the middle of the club face onto the golf ball. And remember, we get good at what we practice. Practice makes permanent, perfect practice makes perfect. So work on that. Drop me some feedback, let me know how it's improved your long irons, and hopefully you'll start loving them rather than hating them.